Brendan Appel with Sons of Speed. Today we're going to change the oil on a C7 Z51 that has the dry sump oil system. And we're going to need a 15mm socket wrench. You're going to need a torque wrench. You're going to need something to catch the oil in, and you're going to need a new oil filter. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do, there are two oil drain plugs because this is a dry sump oil system. So you got one here, and then you've got the oil filter right there. We're going to need to take that off. We're going to start with the front one in front. Again, these are 15mm bolts. So just get your wrench on there, break it loose, and then this is going to spit right out. So I like to wear gloves because you are going to get oil on your fingers. So the one thing you can do is you can loosen the oil fill plug, cap up top. But if you do that, this will come out really fast and it'll kind of splash all over the place. If you leave it on, it'll take a little longer to drain, but it'll be a lot more controlled. So I like to leave the plug on, get a nice controlled drain, and then this is going to come back and drain a little at a lower arc as it loses volume inside, and then when this is finished, we're going to start on the next one. Okay, one thing you want to make sure you do is check your oil bolts. This is a little gasket in there, a little rubber gasket. Make sure that it isn't damaged, it isn't cracked at all, it isn't torn at all, and then just clean it with a rag. But these things are pretty cheap as well. We'll put the part number up on the screen. Go ahead and order yourself some extras in case that comes out and there's something wrong with this gasket. Obviously, you don't want to make any oil leaking out of there, so you want that gasket to be perfect. All right, so now that this one is almost done, I'm going to position our oil catch here, and then we're going to open this one up, and we should be able to get both of these at the same time. These are only torqued to 18 foot-pounds, so they don't take a lot of pressure to get off. And I should warn you, you don't really want to do this right after you've driven the car, because everything's going to be really hot. I mean really hot, including the oil. Okay, this will drip forever if you let it. There's really no harm in going ahead and, after it's drained most of that oil out, just put the plug in, clean the area around it, and just finger tighten that for now. Same thing with the other side. Your hands are slippery. These are tough to get the fingers down on. Oil tends to do that. Alright, those are finger tightened. We're going to torque those down when we do this as well. So, next thing we got to do is take off the oil filter. This is going to have oil in it, so be ready for that. This is a tool that helps remove oil filters. It's specifically made for this job. It only goes one direction, and that is off. So with a wrench and the removal tool, get that loose. You'll see the oil just comes right out. I like to let that drain a little bit. And then this is the hard part. Don't drop this thing. It gets really slippery because you're basically holding onto a greased ball. So just drop that in your pan, let it drain, grab a rag, clean your hands, and let that drain out. Okay, one thing very important, you'll notice there's also a gasket right here. This rubber gasket, and a lot of times, especially it's been a while since you changed the oil, but even when it's fresh, this thing will detach itself from here and it'll be stuck up on the car. So make sure that your oil gasket is down on the oil filter and it's not up on the car. If it is, just remove it. If you leave it up there, chances are you're going to get a leak, and you don't want that. So we're going to clean this area up here, wipe up any excess oil, and we're ready to install our new oil filter. Okay, so the oil filter you're going to need, the part number is PF64. This is one specifically for the Corvette. You'll notice there's that oil gasket right there. This is very important. What you need to do is take a fingerful of fresh oil and just put a little layer of fresh oil on there. And then you bring it back over here. And this obviously just screws it right on. Now, there's two schools of thought. One is you hand tighten this and no more. But GM actually recommends you torque this to 22 foot-pounds. And so that's what we're going to do. There's a different part for that. This is a tool, fits right up in here. It's got a socket hole in there and allows us to torque it to spec. The filter goes to 22 foot-pounds. So I'm going to set that to 22. I'm going to pop this in there, and then we're going to tighten it down. And it's going to seem like it's going to take a while. And it's because that gasket is compressing. Oops, I think I just... Yep. Alright, we got it. Now remove that piece. And now we have to tighten these down. Now these go to 18 foot-pounds. So adjust your torque wrench. There's 18. Alright, I'm going to do the easy one first. Right here on front. There you go, not much pressure. Now, you might have been sitting at home trying to figure this out and going, geez, that doesn't fit in there. How am I supposed to torque that down? Well, there's a solution for that. It's called the crow's foot. It looks like this. This is a 15mm crow's foot. You can buy a whole set of this. They're not that expensive. Pop it on there. Magically it fits. There we go. And that's how you get that one down to 18 foot-pounds. All right, now put the car down. Next thing we're going to do is fill it with oil. We'll be ready to go. Today we're putting in 15W50 Mobile 1. So the normal oil is 5W30 Mobile 1, but we're headed to the track right now. So we're going to put in the track recommended 15W50. And the car takes 9.5 quarts. Each of these jugs is 5 quarts. So we're going to put in all of this one. Okay, for the second one, I'm going to put most of it in. And I'll show you how to check to see where you are on these big jugs. If you're using individual quarts, it's the same concept. It's just going to take you a little longer to open each one and dump it in there. So what you want to do right here is it'll show you how many quarts you got. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the top is 5. So right now we've still got 2 full quarts in the jug, and we want to get down to half a quart. So we're going to put a little more in, and we're going to double check. Still over a quart. And we're very, very close to half, so we're just going to top it off a little bit. Yeah, that's about perfect. I'm going to save this oil for later. And by the way, if you're going to take your used oil to a recycling center, the empty jugs make great transportation. Just put your old oil in here and bring them over to your nearest recycling center and recycle your oil responsibly. Do not be dumping that stuff down into the sewer, please. All right, put our Oil cap back on. And the only thing left to do now is start the car up, check for leaks underneath, and then we're going to check the oil, which on a dry sump car, a Z51, start the car, let it get up to operating temperature, and then what you do is shut it off, wait 5 minutes, and check the oil. That's how you've got to do it with the dry sump system.
Last but not least, start the car and make sure that the oil pressure returns to normal, and reset the oil life counter in the settings. Hey, thanks for watching, and while you're here, why not head over and like the Sons of Speed Facebook page, and click on the Shop Now button to see our awesome line of custom t-shirts. If you see something you like, you better get it now. These designs are for a limited time only. Check back often, and we'll have new designs up all the time. Thanks again for watching. This has been Brendan Appel with Sons of Speed, and we'll catch you next time.